So, right, now I'm here with Paul from Retired Wargames Reloaded, proudly emblazoned on his shirt. So, this is a marvellous looking World War II game.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, this is the Battle for Carentan, made famous in Band of Brothers, episode 3. So we're playing here the second day, so the US Paras have pushed the Germans out of the town to a defence line. They've moved forward. 3rd Armoured are coming down to support the US Paras, and 17th SS are coming up to support the German Paras. In reality, they nearly captured the town, but didn't. The Americans held on and pushed the Germans back in reality.
Okay, right. Well, it's got a really neat kind of look about it. It's nice and clean, and that's sort of emphasised by the town in the middle and, the lovely architecture there. Are these models that you are commercially available, or? I've
3D printed all these models.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much every building on the terrain is 3D printed, as is the railway line, bridges, all that sort of thing. So I bought the STLs and then just printed the buildings.
Yeah, okay, right. And how about the figures?
They're mainly either Plastic Soldier or Flames of War.
Okay.
Although we're not using Flames of War rules, we're using the Rapid Fire Reloaded.
Right, Rapid Fire Reloaded, which is the little booklet.
That's right, great set of rules. Yeah? Really good set of rules, yeah.
Okay. And some very striking looking aircraft as well.
Yeah, they are the old Airfix mini kits. Airfix did a range of 1/100th kits a few years ago. They're unavailable now, but you can still get them on eBay.
Okay.
And so they come ready painted, so you just have to put them together. So
right.
they're quite neat. And they're the right scale.
Yeah, and I like the fact you've turned them on the side. That looks very
dramatic.
Well,
the FW-190's sort of angling over, having been shot down, and the Mustang's coming around behind him.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And the boards, are these all sort of 2 by 2?
Yeah, they're pretty well. They're 60 by 60 centimetres in modern language,
right,
or 2 foot by 2 foot in our old world.
Yeah.
They're styrofoam. Then a friend of ours, one of the group, has done all the whittling out. We call him the whittler in the group, so he's done all the whittling out. And then covered in hanging basket liner.
Oh yeah.
And then just flocked.
Okay, right.
And all the water is wallpaper.
Oh, is it?
And painted.
Yeah. I mean, this is a canal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's canal. Yeah, and that's not wallpaper. That's just flooded field.
The swamp.
The swamp. Yeah. Because the Germans flooded all the fields.
Right. Okay. Oh, so that's a great pointer towards that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, well, it's a marvellous looking game, and have you actually been playing it?
A bit, but there's been 3 of us here. We've been so busy all day. It's been a manic day.
Yeah.
In fact, one of us, there were so many people around the table at one point, we had to step back from the table. We couldn't actually be around because we were like, there were so many people, we felt we were in the way almost.
Okay, right.
So we had to step back.
Right.
But, it's been fun.
Yeah, and it looks great. So thanks very much for bringing it. And
you're very welcome.
Well done. Yeah.
And you can see us at these shows.
Hello, Andy.
Hi, Dan.
So, the Friends of General Haig are here again.
Yes.
And Friends of the magazine, I like to think,
Yes,
as well.
yeah, definitely.
And brought one of your fabulous games. No, two of your fabulous games.
Yes.
We're gonna move into the future in a moment, but let's talk more about this game here, which is more your thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So what's going on and why?
Right, so this is Gustav Adolf, King of Sweden, has invaded Poland. It's a dynastic rivalry, there's a commercial rivalry with the Poles, and he's captured the town of Dachau, and he's keen to march north, but he can't while the Poles have a large army nearby. So the two armies have had a standoff for some weeks. There was a skirmish at the start of the day. The Poles got themselves into a situation where their army was split across the marsh, and the Swedish king thought he saw an opportunity. He rushed his cavalry out, attacked the Swedes while they were split across the marsh. Now, historically, it was more of a sort of draw, but today the Swedes didn't do very well, and the viewers may see lots of Swedish casualties at the back of the board.
Yeah.
So the Swedish cavalry were badly mauled by the Poles. The Swedish infantry have come forward, but they're just taking too many casualties, and so today is definitely a Polish victory.
Hurrah, the Poles. What have you been playing, Black Powder? Or?
Pike and shot, so very similar to Pike and to Black Powder, but slightly slower movement distances, and yes, slightly less emphasis on firepower and a bit more emphasis on melee than perhaps Black Powder has.
Okay, cool. Right, tell us a bit about the figures and the models on the table. So the figures are from various manufacturers?
They are. I mean, looking at my handy record, there's at least 8 different manufacturers of the main figures, and then once you get into the camp followers, it's a bit of everything. And that's one of the nice things about the 17th century, is that it's pre-national uniforms. So people are wearing costumes from the period, but it's very difficult to tell you which army is which army. So you can really mix manufacturers
and use that to your advantage as a gamer.
Yes.
And I know you were saying earlier, even into different theatres and geographically different locations as well.
Yeah. My collection sort of evolved across Europe into different areas. So so today this is Swedes v Poles, but I'm starting to think, well, who else did the Poles fall? Oh, they fought the Ottomans. Perhaps that would be an interesting thing to do next, and I'd only have to collect the one army because I've already got the Poles.
I tell you what, that might make for an interesting article.
That would be good. I'd love to put something together on that. So yeah.
The camp's really nice at the back here. Well, the bit of a redoubt then into the camp. Is that stuff that's commercially available, or is it?
Yes, it is. Lots and lots of different manufacturers. I think the tents are the plastic ones from
Renedra.
Yes, that's the ones. Yeah. Some resin tents from Grand Manor, and I think there's the buildings are hovels, and the town walls are Magister Militum. So it's just you end up searching around the different companies, and everybody's got something different. But I'm sort of falling into the point now where actually I like doing the camp more than the armies. But camp followers are great because role players very much move into 17th century dress for D&D. Wenches and barmen and rowdy people. So there's a fantastic array of figures you can find that you can fit nicely into 17th century. Yeah,
you're never short of a rat catcher, are you?
No, quite.
What I like, there's the hint of the town there. Now you've done a sort of little backdrop, haven't you?
Yes.
It shows going off into the distance, I suppose.
So it would be really nice, I guess, to have some sort of sky or whatever, but to give that impression of the town going away. Apparently this is a trick that the railway modelers are very keen on. And so one of my friends is a bit of a closet railway modeller, and he kept telling me, what the railway modelers would do, Andy, is they'd put a silhouette across the back, and eventually he said, let me do it, and so he very kindly he produced that, and it really sets the town off nicely, I think, doesn't it?
It does. It sets the town off nicely, and the whole game itself looks really good. So thanks very much for bringing it.
Pleasure.
All right, cheers.
Bye.
Hello, so now we've moved on to another friend of General Haig. This is Steve, and we've moved forward in time to what are we looking at here? Looks like the invasion of Iraq.
That's correct. So this is Operation Desert Shield 1991. We've got on one side we've got the US Marines, and they're defending Saudi Arabia, and on the other side we've got the Iraqi Republican Guard pressing down out of Kuwait into the top part of Saudi Arabia.
Okay. And what figures have we got on the table? Who's the manufacturer?
So a lot of them are quick reaction force. They've built up over a number of years, and they're older type figures, 15mm figures. And on this side we've got the Republican Guard, we've got T-72s and BMPs, and on the other side we've got the US Marines with M60s, AAV-7 amphibious APCs, and also some quite unique tanks, the Sheridans, which the US paratroopers had a few of as well.
Okay, right, yeah. It looks great. I mean, there's a lot of, although it's fairly flat, there's so much texture even in the roads, and these little complexes look great as well, don't they? Are these something you've put together?
No, they're actually, a lot of them from different manufacturers. The US manufacturer called Gamecraft, but we've based them up. They come individually. We've actually based them up with the walls and the other foliage, so they look good. And same with putting the tanks on a base. It sort of makes the whole thing more complete. And the electricity pylons add an element of depth to the whole ensemble as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And what rules have you been playing?
So this is a combination of several different rule sets. The actual movement phases we use something that comes out of Pike and Shot, where you roll command dice, and that varies how much you can move. And that's really reflected. The American forces have good command and control, so they can move a bit more easily, whereas the Iraqis don't have as good rolls, and it led to them becoming somewhat disjointed as they moved onto the table. And then the firing part, the combat, we use elements of Battlefront. We've included some other parts of it like fire control and overwatch provisions to make it a little more complex and representative of modern warfare.
Okay, cool, yeah. There can't be many people using Pike and Shot in their invasions of Iraq games.
I don't think so. We just like we've used that a lot. We like the random element it brings in, and it seems you can translate it into modern warfare as well, because it adds a bit to the fog of war and the complexity of multiple units moving across a battlefield.
Yeah. Well, it looks great, so thanks very much for bringing it on behalf of everyone here, and I hope you've had fun at the show.
Indeed we have. Had a really good day, thank you.
Oh, good. Right, thank you. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
So this is a very striking looking table. We can see all over it there's Mark's Little Soldiers, yeah? By Mark
Yes.
Copleston.
Yeah.
Right, what's going on?
Well, it's because this year's salute was retro and 50 years, and Mark's Little Soldiers came out at just the right time. We just married the two up together and thought we'd go with this. Most of it is based upon his idea of this Balkans bust-up, and we just expanded it a little bit and had a rebellion in one of the countries, and all the other surrounding countries are piling in at the same time. So it's totally chaos.
Yeah. Oh, right. Have you been running it as a participation, or is it?
Yes, yeah, it's been participation.
Okay.
At other shows we get people who play it right the way through, but obviously as this is salute, people dip in and out. So
yeah.
It's
And what rules have you been using? Because there's no specific rules for the game, is there?
no. We took Memoir 44, altered it a bit, added a few bits and pieces, and just gone with that. So the squares help you tell the range. They give you your move distances.
Oh, it's very subtle, the square.
Yes,
I didn't really
yeah.
notice. We just
So
feel
it means that everything can be just done off of a single play sheet, single cheat sheet, and we've found people are virtually non-war gamers. Within 5 minutes, they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's made it very, very easy for us.
Right. Tell me a bit about the Zeppelin. Was that handmade?
Well, that was,
Can't imagine you can buy one of those.
No, that was one of our club members. For some reason, we said, "Wouldn't a Zeppelin be fun?" And he just built one. So
Okay, right. It's about, what, 2.5 feet, 3 feet long, isn't it?
easily, yes, yeah.
And a lot of the other stuff, is that commercially though?
Yes,
Like
there's some Sarissa boats. A lot of the buildings are war bases. Again, some are Sarissa. The planes are Sarissa. TT Combat do the Nodding Donkeys.
All right, yeah. Yeah.
Most of the vehicles are either matchbox type die casts and a lot of 3D printed strange interwar vehicles. If a tank looks odd, we'll have it.
Oh, right, okay, that's your ethos. Right, I like it. Right, well, thank you very much. Thanks for telling us all about the game.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Can I get some water?
Yes. Yeah. Help a map. How's the show been anyway? Had a good show? Really?
I think we had about 10 minutes of as people walked in, 10 minutes of empty tables, and then it's now returning big plays.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Been running around videoing as much tables as I possibly can, basically.
Yeah.
It's always tiring doing it because you have to make sure you get every single bit, make sure you know what table's what, all that stuff. Because once you get back, it's like trying to figure out what am I doing, where am I?
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, closer.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Obviously, we're doing table set. We're sponsored by two film firms. Wargames Illustrated, Sarissa Precision, and Mantic.
yeah, we all
We've got it all going on, and we're giving away the Kings of War and Legion of
Next player, please. 5 and 6 to beat.
Somebody else beat me.
You want it to Lovely. Cheers. Thank you.
Hello, Simon Miller.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Have you had a good day?
We've had a cracking day. We fought the battle twice.
Yeah.
I think one side's won each time.
Okay. And what is the battle? Tell us
The
a bit
battle
about
is the
that.
Battle of Ipsus in 301 BC
Okay.
between the successors of Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm.
We've got on the one side of the table, this side of the table, we've got the Antigonids, led by Antigonus, who is in a litter over there.
Oh,
He was
yes.
old. I think he was 88. He was very fat. He was carried to the battle in a litter.
Okay.
Over there is his younger son Demetrius, who's only merely middle-aged.
Right.
He's routed the enemy wing opposite him.
Okay.
But because he can't get back to the battle, because the enemy elephants create a screen that prevents him returning, his poor father dies under a hail of javelins.
Gosh, that's got to be painful, hasn't it? A hail
Yeah,
of
it's got to be
javelins.
painful. Yeah, it's absolutely got to be painful. But we've had an absolute blast. Really, it's been a terrific game.
Good.
Met loads of people. Shows back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, it seems very buzzy, doesn't
really.
it? Yeah. And how many figures have you got on this table? Because it
Right.
looks like a lot.
I've got roughly 3,000 figures here. I've got 1,600 phalangites, well, slightly over 1,600 phalangites, 400 hoplites. I've got 33 war elephants, and I've got 8 scythe chariots. So yeah, it's quite big. It's a.
You keep doing these big games, don't you? Is this
I
the
do.
way-
I do love a big game
Can you not
because that's
go
what
back
inspires
now?
me. I'm not a skirmish
Right.
person. I like massed lines.
Yeah.
I like it to look like that overhead shot in the film Alexander when the eagle flies over the lines, the battle lines, and you can see them all beneath.
Your inspiration.
So that's what I like to do. But we've had a lot of fun. It's a great chance to meet. I've met hundreds of people I know here today. It's just been such a pleasure.
Good, yeah. Well, tell us a
super
bit.
chance to catch up.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about the rules, because we can't not get that plug in.
Oh, well, the plug for To the Strongest is very welcome.
Right.
To the Strongest is my set of ancient rules. I originally wrote them for use at conventions so that you can play a big battle, fight a big battle once or twice in the day at a show. But they make a very good competition set or a game for a casual game over a pub. They're grid-based, they're driven with playing cards. There's quite a lot of luck, wild swings of fortune during a battle, lots of swearing.
What more could you want?
I published so I do the To the Strongest rules. I've got an English Civil War set called For King and Parliament. I'm working on a long-delayed Renaissance set that will hopefully be out fairly soon, and we're doing some scenario books at the moment for the English Civil War set that will be out about Montrose, the Marquis of Montrose in Scotland, which will be a riot. Oh, and we won a trophy today.
Did you? What did you win?
We got the best 25mm game. I think that's what it says. Yes, best 25mm game.
Oh, okay.
25, 28mm game. So yeah, wow.
Well, that's worth it. It's worth all that effort then, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I was absolutely delighted. I mean, it's been such a nice show. It's great to see everyone back again, and to meet up with all the friends and see that the businesses seem to be doing well. It feels, I'm going to touch wood at this point, but it feels very much like it hasn't got for a few years.
Yes, it does, Yeah, right, well, great. Well done on your award, and thanks for bringing such a lovely table to the show.
Well, thank you very much for coming and interviewing me.
All right. Cheers then, Simon.
Cheers. Bye.
Hello, right, I'm now here with Fred Ember from the Hornchurch Wargames Club, and we're looking at this rather lovely looking Zulu war table.
Yep.
So what's the battle? Is it a historical battle?
It is an historical battle. It's the Intombi River, or sometimes known as Myers Drift, which was occurred in the second invasion after the debacle at Iswandala.
Okay, and what's specifically going on? There seems to be something involving the carts over there.
Yes, it's a convoy of ammunition wagons. They got caught out crossing the river. The river went into spate, and they didn't get a chance to get everything across the river. And the Zulu chief, Mimblini, was it's a bit of a warlord, really. It's not to do with Cetshwayo. He saw there was an opportunity, gathered his troops, they say between 600 and 1,000 Zulus and Swazis, and attacked at dawn, as it were, in the mist. And unfortunately, Captain Moriarty had only put 2 sentries out, and everybody in the tents were caught asleep.
Oh, okay, so that's why we've got some fellas running out half
That's
dressed.
right, yeah. They didn't get a chance to get dressed before a lot of them were killed in the tents before they could even get out. Yeah.
Okay, right.
In fact, there were only about 2 or 3 survivors from that side of the river.
Right. And what figures are you using here?
Well, it's basics. There's some Britannias, old Britannias. There's some Redoubt. The Zulus I've amassed over years, so you start off with minifigs, some Redoubt figures, all sorts.
Okay.
About 5 different makes, actually.
Right. And I'm seeing some signs saying that, is this something that you bought out in 2007?
Yes, we're here. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah, and Donald Featherstone had been at that battlefield, and he sat down at the table, and I like to say he played the game, but he moved a couple of figures.
Yes, I remember when Don came, actually, because he came with what was part of Wargames Illustrated.
That's
he was
it,
on
yeah.
our stand for the
Yeah,
day,
that's
so,
the article in your magazine.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
Right, okay, well, it's very nice looking. Have you actually played a couple of games today? Or?
Yeah. We've done the one game. It takes time because it's a 1-to-1, so that's a lot of Zulus to move around.
Oh, yeah, 1-to-1, right, yeah.
And then so the hand-to-hand, the firing all takes time.
Yeah.
And plus we've had a lot of interest from people, so you're doing a lot of talking. So, yeah.
Well done. Thanks for bringing it. It looks really nice.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Hello, right, I'm now here with Lance, and your Wargames Club is...
We are the London Wargames Guild,
Right, okay.
based in Covent Garden, and
Right.
this is the game from the club. This is the man behind most of the construction, Dan, who's, as you can see, he's very intensely
Yes, he is.
in mid-strategy with
Yeah.
some players, but he laser cut and designed most of these buildings.
So this is London Bridge, is
It's
it?
London Bridge in 1650, so before the fire of London, and they've gone all out with accuracy. These are the buildings that were on the bridge at that time.
Wow.
You've got Southwark Cathedral on the south side here, pretty much pretty much as it is now.
Yeah.
That's probably the only building that's still the same, all the way across to the north side. The game revolves around various groups of religious and political factions, such as the Puritans, the Witches, because of course it's at that time there's a confluence of all different ideologies and religions going on, and they're all out on a bit of a drunken bender, trying to achieve different things as well as off each other in the process.
Okay.
And it's a rolling game, so players have been coming in and out all day, and we've been on different shifts
And
running the game. But it's very much the brainchild of Dan there, and we also won best participation and best in show.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
Very
so-
well done, yeah.
Well,
partly from the noise you've been making, I think. That always helps, doesn't it?
all I did was paint the river. So, well, actually, I did some of the boards, but
Frozen River, isn't it? As the Thames frozen over.
I just painted the green bit over there.
Yeah.
I didn't do the ice. I did all the simple stuff.
Oh, okay. Right.
But yeah, I mean, Dan is. You might want to get a quick soundbite from Dan as well.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So
his house is a building site at the minute, and I was round there helping him paint the other day, and literally there were terrain boards like everywhere.
Right. Yeah, I heard you were still painting some of the buildings when you were setting up this morning, weren't you?
Yeah, there was little bits of construction going on right up until the first players arrived.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, great. That's well done on your awards, and thanks for telling us all about the game.
No problem.
Hello, right, we're still on London Bridge. We've moved around the other side, or just near it anyway. So apparently you're the main brains behind this project, is that right?
Behind the terrain, certainly.
It's behind the terrain, okay. So this is London Bridge as it would have looked, just pre-fire of London?
Yeah, it's a caricature.
Okay, right, okay.
Reasonably close.
I mean, very impressive looking buildings. What's this one in particular here?
This is None Such House, which replaced the original gatehouse in the 16th century.
Yeah.
It's just a very large timber frame building. It was torn down sometime in the 18th century, but while it existed, it was some of the fanciest flats in London.
Yeah, it does look very impressive. So these are laser cut buildings, aren't they? Laser cut MDF
yes,
buildings?
almost all of them.
Right.
Apart from the two churches, which are just hand built from foam by a man who has since had to leave us and go up north.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Well,
he's not dead. He's just in the north.
Oh, right, okay, good. Thanks for clearing that up. Well done on winning your 2 awards. I mean, it's been a very noisy game. A lot of participation, a lot of people having a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I like to think we have more shouting than all the other games put together.
Yeah, I think you probably do. So well done for that. And Vince Reed, your colleague, and thanks very much for showing us around the table.
No worries.
Cheers.
You're welcome.
This video has been brought to you by WiPrime, Wargames Illustrated magazine's online members club. View more videos or find out more about WiPrime by following these links.